In a previous lecture, we talked about population explosion and birth control. Today, we will discuss two important topics of lesson reproductive health. They are sexually transmitted diseases and infertility. First of all, we should know what are sexually transmitted diseases. So, diseases or infections which are transmitted through sexual intercourse, they are collectively said to be sexually transmitted diseases. These sexually transmitted diseases are also said to be venereal diseases or reproductive tract infections, right? Or RTI, right? Now, we will study certain examples of sexually transmitted diseases. So, examples of sexually transmitted diseases are gonorrhea, which is caused by bacteria, syphilis, again by bacteria, genital herpes by virus, chlamydiasis by bacteria, genital warts by virus, trichomoniasis by protozoa said to be Trichomonas vaginalis, hepatitis B again by hepatitis B virus, right, and AIDS again by HIV virus. So these are example of certain sexually transmitted diseases. Now we will discuss how these sexually transmitted diseases they are spread. You know, children, out of all the sexually transmitted diseases, the most important are hepatitis B and HIV. So these hepatitis B and HIV, they are transmitted by sharing of injections needle, right? If one person is sharing injection needles with other person, right, then also you can suffer from these diseases. If surgical instruments they are not proper sterilized, right, and they come in the contact of the infected person, then again chances of these diseases may take place. Transfusion of blood of infected person to a healthy person, right, and infected mother to the fetus. So these are the certain causes by which HIV and hepatitis B can be transmitted from one person to another. Now we will study the symptoms of sexually transmitted diseases, right? So certain symptoms, if they are there in you, that means you may suffer from these diseases. So what are those symptoms? Itching in your genital region, fluid discharge is there in your genital region, swelling it is also there in your genital region, and pain occur during intercourse. So if any of these symptoms they are there, so you may suffer from this sexually transmitted diseases. So you have to go to your doctor to diagnose these diseases. If you are suffering from any of these sexually transmitted disease, then you have to take a proper treatment for that. Now it is very important to note that except for hepatitis B, genital herpes and HIV infections, other diseases they are completely curable, right? And they are completely curable only if they are detected early and they are treated properly, then only they are curable, otherwise not. So early symptoms of these diseases, I told you earlier that if you have itching in your genital area or fluid discharge is there, slight pain, swellings they are there, right? So that means you may suffer from these these sexually transmitted diseases. Generally what happens, children, the infected females they are asymptomatic, means no symptoms they may appear in the female. So sometime they may remain undetected for long period of time, and after long period of time the symptoms appear, right? And then the treatment of these diseases it become very much difficult. Now there are certain complications. There are certain complications if you suffer from these STDs. So what are those complications? Pelvic inflammatory diseases, they are there. Abortions, frequent abortion takes place in a female. Stillbirth means if fetus die inside the mother womb, and after the parturition mother give birth to a dead baby, then it is said to be stillbirth. Ectopic pregnancy means fertilization and development of embryo is occurring inside the fallopian tube. If the embryo is developing inside the fallopian tube instead of developing in uterus, then it is said to be ectopic pregnancy. Sometimes these STDs, they also lead to infertility and even cancer of the reproductive tract. So if symptoms of these STDs, they are there in any person, so proper treatment and early diagnosis is the only cure for these STDs. Now we can take certain prevention from these sexually transmitted diseases. So we have to avoid sex with unknown partners. We should be faithful with a life partner, that is a husband. We should avoid multiple partner also. This may also lead to these STDs. We should always use condom during the time of sexual intercourse. And if certain symptoms of these diseases, they are there, we have to go to a qualified doctor for proper treatment and diagnosis. Okay. So this early detection and cure of these diseases, they are the prime consideration under the reproductive health care programs. So children, we all are vulnerable to these infections, right? So these incidences, they are reported at very high among person in the age group of 15 to 24. So adolescents, they also suffer from these sexually transmitted diseases. So you should know actually what are sexually transmitted diseases and what are their symptoms and what you have to do if certain symptom of sexually transmitted disease is there, because you are also in the adolescence age. You should know all the you should have all the detailed information about these diseases. So if these diseases happen, you don't have to panic, because if you will panic, then again due to stress, these diseases will get enhanced. So you have to take the proper treatment if any problem is there. Now children, you know that a large number of couple all over the world, including a country also, they are infertile. That means they are unable to produce children in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation, right? What is the meaning of unprotected sexual cohabitation? Means two person, that is male and female, they are living and they are having sexual relation with each other, yet they are not capable of producing baby. So there are many reasons for this infertility or couple not having their baby. They may be physical, they may be congenital, they may be due to certain diseases or certain drugs, certain psychological reason they are also there. If you are in stress, or if you are this obese, and if you have long history of STDs, if irregular periods they are there, right? And if you are smoking, drinking, and if you are over age, means after the age of 35 you are marrying with you are doing marriage, then also you can have this infertility, right? Children, in a country mainly female is blamed. If the couple is childless, it is very easy to blame a female, that female is not capable of giving birth to a child. But it is not so. Male and female, they may have any problem in themselves. It may be male or it may be female. So certain specialized clinics they are there which are said to be infertility clinic. You might have seen the this advertisement in newspaper as well as in TV also. Some specialized infertility clinics they are there, right? And these clinics they help in the diagnosis and corrective treatment of some of these disorders, and they also enable this couples having no children to have children. So always these corrections they are not possible, right? So therefore the couples they have to assist to have a children through a special techniques. So these are actually the medical procedures, and these medical procedures they are said to be assisted reproductive technology. So now we will study about assisted reproductive technology. So these are the medical procedures, and these techniques they are very helpful in getting baby to those couples which are having no children. Now different types of ART techniques we will study. So what are these different type of ART techniques? First is in vitro fertilization, second is zygote intrafallopian transfer, third is intracytoplasmic sperm injections, fourth is gamete intrafallopian transfer, and fifth is artificial insemination. So all these techniques we will study one by one. So first we will discuss in vitro fertilization. In vitro, you know, two terms are there in biology. One is in vitro, other is in vivo. In vitro means outside the body if fertilization is taking place, and in vivo fertilization means if fertilization is taking place inside the female body. So in vitro fertilization, as the name suggests, the fertilization is taking place outside the female body. So ovum is taken out from the female body, and sperm this sperm is allowed to fuse with the ovum or oocyte. As a result of this, zygote is formed, and you know children. And one most important thing is in vitro fertilization, that the conditions which are created in the lab is same as that present inside the female body, right? Then only the survival of zygote is possible, otherwise zygote will not be able to survive. Okay, so in this techniques, ovum and sperm they fuses and they form a zygote. Now this zygote, you know, earlier you've studied about it, that this zygote divide to form a blastomeres. So when blastomere divide to form zygote divide to form 8 blastomeres, then at this stage this embryo is transferred into the fallopian tube of female. So then in vitro fertilization is said to be ZIFT, that is zygote intrafallopian transfer, right? And when this instead of 8 blastomere zygote, if we are taking a zygote having more than 8 blastomere, and if we are transferring that embryo in the female uterus, then it is said to be intrauterine transfer. So in this picture you are seeing, here one picture is there in which you are seeing that this in petri dish the fusion of male and female gametes they are there. So here it is taking outside the female body, that is why it is said to be in vitro fertilization. Now in this figure you are seeing how the in vitro fertilization takes place. So first, stimulation of ovary so that ovary can produce oocyte. Oocyte is or ovum is taken out, right? And from this husband, semen is taken out, and here the fusion of male and female it is taking place. It results in the fertilization. Then embryo culture is there, and after the formation of embryo it is transferred either into the female uterus or into the fallopian tube depending on the number of blastomeres, and then the female, now it is the suitable condition are there in the female body, and now after the transfer of this embryo inside the female body, now female the normal gestation period will be there, and after the completion of gestation period the female will give birth to a child. So here again the zygote intrafallopian transfer, which I have already explained you, right? So this zygote, one important thing to note here, that this zygote intrafallopian transfer is also said to be tubal embryo transfer, because here we are transferring the embryo into the fallopian tube. So it is also said to be TET, tubal embryo transfer. So here we are not transferring the embryo inside the uterus, we are transferring the embryo in the fallopian tube. So generally zygotic intrafallopian tube transfer takes place in those females in which there is any blockage is there in fallopian tube. So if somehow fallopian tubes they are blocked and fertilization is not occurring inside the fallopian tube of female, then this technique is applied, right? Zygotic intrafallopian tube transfer, intrafallopian transfer, sorry, it is said to be ZIFT, right? Now the next, gamete intrafallopian transfer. So here the transfer of gamete collected from donor into fallopian tube of another female. So here the transfer of gamete takes place into the fallopian tube of another female which is not capable of producing ovum, right? If any woman or if any female is not capable of producing ovum, then fertilization, in vitro fertilization is done, and after the fertilization has taken place, then that fertilized egg is transferred into the, that is after the 8 blastomere or more than 8 blastomere stage, it is transferred into the female body for further development. Okay. Now the new ART we will study, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So actually this is this technique is related with in vitro fertilization. In this, the sperm injection, in this the sperm is injected into the ovum with the help of injection or needle. Okay, so because here the sperm is injected into the cytoplasm of the oocyte, it is said to be intracytoplasmic sperm injection. And why it is transferred or injected, why sperm is injected into the oocyte? Again for the reason of fertilization. So it is this technique is actually assisting in vitro fertilization. So here in this picture you are seeing that how this is the needle. From this needle, sperm, this black color sperm, it is transferred into the oocyte, and this is the oocyte, and this is the needle from where the transfer of sperm is there, right? So here this technique, this is also occurring in the laboratory, like just it is a technique to assist in vitro fertilization. Okay, so it is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Now the next is artificial insemination. If infertility cases they are there due to incapability of producing sufficient if male is not having a proper sperm count, or some any other reason is there, that is the male is not capable of producing child, then any donor will donate their sperms, and these sperms they are transferred into the female uterus through the instruments, right? This method is said to be artificial insemination. So in this diagram it is clear that these are the washed sperms, and these washed sperms, they are, with the help of this catheter, they are transferred into the uterus of the female. So these white color sperms they are there, which is transferred into the female uterus, and these sperms are the sperms of donor, right? As here that male is not giving their sperm, right? who means we are taking sperm from a donor, from other male, so that is why it is said to be artificial insemination, right? So this is a very good technique, assisted reproductive technique. Now children, you know that all these techniques